Alright guys, it's Darcy here today, and what I want to show you is how you can use the loops in Apple's software to make some great music. So what I've already done is I've taken one of their loops and some of the instruments that I've used to change up that existing loop to make a beat, and then I did some live instrumentation at the end because, well, I was inspired to do so. So let's jump into it so that you can see how it's done. Alright, so today we're going to look at how we're going to flip an Apple loop into something a little hotter. So let's play the Apple loop over here on the right. Pretty cool. And this is what I made out of it. Alright, so let's jump right into this. So first thing out the gate, what did I do? How did I start? So first thing I did is just drag this thing over. And you'll see that the actual loop is a little bit longer. Kind of like sampling, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to just cut out all these notes I'm not interested in. Call that out and bring this to the end. And then we can just cut this right here, right? I think it's, yep, it's probably cut. And if I were to listen to that straight, I'd still have this. Wicked, which is very much the same thing as what we see here, right? If I flip between them, you'll notice no real difference because there's barely any difference. So anyways, I'm gonna cut that track. We don't need it. All right, so next we're going to look at some of those instrument tracks without any of the effects on them. Let's jump in. So the next thing I did was I took the lower note and I copied it to a separate track. So essentially what I would do is I'd copy this, go in here, and I'd edit out like the first notes, and then I would extend certain lower notes to something that worked for me. So let's see which ones they were. So I extended certain notes, and then I took up most of all of the quick played notes minus these two here. So again, I'm gonna get rid of this track because I don't need it. And we're gonna take a listen to the low note on its own. Wicked. Now what I did is I grabbed the EXS24 and I went and grabbed myself the Steinway Piano, which is just a nice, I think it's a little cleaner of a sound when you're in the low ends. It just has a cleaner, less harsh vibrato kind of sound. So I'm going to play these two things together so you get how they sound. And as if you notice, there's a little bit of panning left and right for both of them just to kind of separate them, make it feel bigger. So you can see how these certain notes extend. But it still very much plays along, so it makes it a little more dramatic. So the next thing I did actually was I made this hip hop loop. I didn't do anything special. I went to Ultra Beat. I grabbed out a very straightforward kit, and I brought it in. So I essentially grabbed the second pattern for the hip hop heavy kit, and I took out, I think with one instrument I just didn't like, one percussion, just took it out, and I dragged that thing in, and I threw a couple of compressors on it. We won't go over those compressors because they're also custom. Then next thing I did was I had a very simple bass line. So I went to the Bass Alchemy, and I ended up creating this custom sub bass. If you want, take a screenshot right here. You can see all the settings and you can adjust. So let's play that. Cool. And I actually forgot to play the drum kit, so I'm going to play those two together so you get a sense. kind of a pretty cool vibe. One thing to note, the actual bass notes are all played slightly delayed so that they come in after the kick drum. So like listen to that. So they kind of play off each other. Cool. Now what I did was I added this heavy metal organ, and it's just the basic vintage B3 organ from Logic here, and I haven't really done much other than I'm just playing certain like similar to the Steinway piano. I'm playing extended notes, but I'm playing them longer. So you'll see I'm just playing them for you know, full bars or half bars or multiple. And that way it's just adding in some, filling in the gap of space. So for instance, let's listen to this on its own. Now if I were to listen to this against, like, if I listen to these two on their own, right? There's still kind of like a bit of space when it dives out. I add this in. Maybe bring that down just a little bit.
Now that we've looked at the tracks without any processing, let's add some reverb and some other colors to just bring these sounds together and make them more glued to sound like they were meant to be together just a little bit more than they are.
Now, what did I do to the instruments? If I play this, this is a bus that these three instruments go to. I'm going to bring up the track here. You'll see if I select all three of these, I had sent them to a bus 1. I called it instruments. It's called instruments. I'm going to make it even clearer. Like short form, so that way when you see it here, you can see how it matches. So what have I done with this? Well, I did a couple of things. First, I added a compressor. So the idea of this is to kind of bring the sounds together so they sound more whole together. So let's listen with the compressor on and off. Just sounds more like together. Now the second thing is I added a bit crusher. What this bit crusher does essentially is, think of like when you had a old school MP3 and there were 16 kilobytes per second and they were kind of crappy. It has digital distortion on it. Well, that's what this does, but it's controlled. So what I did is I put 16-bit resolution, downsampling at 4. I figured out what drive I liked, and then I changed my mix. So I'm going to adjust my mix up and down so you can see you know, what it sounds like with more or less. So let's put this on and off. So I go up. The idea. Now I added a sound designer, or basically a reverb. If I can click it, open it, there we go. And so essentially what I'm doing is I'm bringing in the soft plate. It's a medium plate, but what I've done is I've dialed back some of the dry signal and up some of the reverb. So I'm taking away some of its natural quality and then kind of trying to congeal them all together with more reverb. And part of the attempt at this is also to make it sound a bit older and a bit more dated, but also to make it sound kind of more unique sound. So let's hear it on and off. Then he makes those highs more dramatic. That's pretty cool stuff right there. So that pretty much is the majority of it. Now, I'm going to try something real quick on the fly here. I'm going to try to add an accent because I'm just inspired, and let's see what happens. So I'm going to pause this real quick, and I'm going to come back in with what I got.
So the idea with contrasting sounds is that you're trying to add a new texture, you're trying to add new colors to the mix so that the song will keep from getting repetitive. Too often we get caught up in a loop in a set of drums that we like, and we just loop that thing the whole way through, and people find it to get a little bit boring. So if you can add some accented sounds, you can keep them from getting bored. They'll hear the accent, and then they'll long for the original melody that they love so much, and their ears will navigate back and forth. Remember though, don't just loop your accent sound throughout the whole thing. Cut parts here and there, or only play it in certain sections of the song, so that essentially the user has something to look forward to and changes it up. So let's see what we did here.
All right, so I think I got something. I'm gonna lay it down live. I chose this Middle Eastern Dreams from the Alchemy synth, which I love, and so this is kind of how it sounds. Cool. Let's mess with this.
All right, so the next thing that I did really quickly was cut all the reverb that was coming out of the plugin itself. It's a good thing to note, sometimes a plugin will have its own reverb and you may not want it. The next thing here though, we're gonna do something with quantizing. I wanted to get this to sound a little bit more in the pocket, so let's see what I did here.
What I'm actually gonna do, quantize it all and make it late. And the idea for this instrument is simply just to add more accent to the existing melody. And so for instance, I could say, grab this whole thing, loop this out another 8 bars, or another 4 bars, sorry, until it's 8, and then not use it for part of it, right?
Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. Again, if you like this video, please hit that like button. Also subscribe because more content like this will be coming. And if you got any questions, feel free to leave me a comment in the comment section below. Also, if you want to do any music with me for any reason, please hit me up. All that information, again, will be down in the description on this video. Anyways guys, thanks again and have yourselves a good day.